Alrighty everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to complete the first sea the most efficient way possible. Everything that you'll ever need to know about this game in the first sea. I'm going to teach you all of it. Every little secret NPC, every little boss, every little island, every weapon, all of it. I'm going to teach you how to do everything. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is when you start the game, either on the pirate island or the marine starter. I highly recommend doing the pirate starter. I think that's just the most common one everyone does. So if you want to follow along with this video perfectly, then I'd recommend just starting as a pirate because it will be very, very useful. Alrighty, so the starting island is pretty straightforward. It's just a couple bandits that you got to kill. It's very, very easy. There's not a whole lot to it. All I would recommend doing is just grouping them all up together like this. You have so much health that these guys pretty much won't be able to kill you. And once you group them all together, just beat them up. Very easy. Use your abilities. They're not going to do a lot of damage to you. They are quite weak. So this is what I recommend doing. Alright, after you've killed those ones, you can just run over here quickly and kind of do the same thing. But you only need to group two up because you're only completing the quest. Just like that. Perfect. Okay, so pretty much you just want to rinse and repeat that same thing up until you get to the next island. You'll know that you get to the next island because this little buzzer will flick and it will tell you, hey, you need to move on. As for stat points right now, guys, I recommend just pumping everything you have into melee, as it's going to always be a very, very crucial stat to begin with. Alrighty, so once you've reached the jungle island, then you get to begin the second quest, which is very, very simple. All you have to do is run over here and beat up some monkeys. Okay, so the monkey quest is really, really bad. It's actually a horrible quest to have because they're all like kind of spread out. So you have to beat them all individually. So for now, I just recommend running around and beating them up until you're able to move on to the gorilla quest, which is the next quest. Okay, at this stage, you should only have to do the monkey quest once. And once you do it once, you should hopefully be able to get level 15, and then you'll be able to run over to this guy once again and start farming the gorillas. The gorillas are a lot easier because they are way, way better because they're just all grouped together, so you can group them up and then kill them all together. And they're just over on this second island over here. Now, because you don't have a devil fruit yet, you can just swim across with no issues. You won't drown or anything like that. And then you just want to kind of group them up like this. It's very simple. You just kind of punch them and then run them over together. I wouldn't recommend grouping any more than 3 up because they can be quite difficult to deal with. Okay, so the next really important thing you need to do over in the jungle is step on these buttons. Now, these buttons light up. There's one right here where the gorillas are. It's right on the end of the island. As you can see here, I can zoom out real fast so you can see it. And the next one is just over here. Next one is just up on this tree right here. The next one is up on this kind of stone building where the bloxfruit gacha guy is, if I can get up there. Yeah, you just want to come up to here, and then you want to jump up over here, and it's just sitting here right there. The next one is wherever the boat dealer is. You can kind of see Middletown just there. If you just want to run over here, you can see the stone building where you got the other button. It's just over on this tree here. You have to jump for it. There you go. And the next button after that is over here, just hidden in the grass. I'll kind of zoom out so you can see it's next to the stone bit. You just want to click it right there. Now, you might be wondering why we've just gone and done the button quest. Well, it's very, very simple. It's going to be really useful later on when we want to go grab the saber sword and also observation haki. Okay, so once you reach level 20, you'll be able to fight your first boss in the game, who is the Gorilla King. Now, this guy's a pretty easy boss to beat. You only have to worry about one attack. He'll kind of bend over and start punching the ground, and he'll create shockwaves that you just kind of have to get away from. If you've got a lot of energy, it won't be too hard because you can dash away from him pretty easily. Just try not to get hit too much. Okay, that's the ability there. Now, you can be like pretty reasonably close, as you can see, but you just don't want to get close to it because if you do, you'll probably get one shot if you don't have any defense. Okay, so once you beat the boss, I highly recommend just going back and farming the regular old gorillas over here until you get high enough to go to the next island. And I still recommend just pumping everything you have into melee, and whenever the Gorilla King spawns, you can just refight him over and over because he gives you quite a lot of levels. So, I'll see you guys on the next island. Okay, so you finally reached the pirate village once you've hit level 30. So what is there about the pirate village that you might need to know? Well, the first thing I'd probably like to indicate is that you can buy your first fighting style here. Now, it's hidden behind this little like door here. You just walk through here and you can talk to the Dark Step teacher. Now, it does cost $150,000, so you're probably not going to have the money for that, but do not fret because it is just important for you guys to know that if you want a new fighting style that isn't the basic old crappy combat, then the cheapest one to buy is that Dark Step. Now, it does cost you a lot, but I highly recommend not buying Dark Step as I don't personally think it's very good for grinding. Now, at this point you have 0 defense, but I still recommend not putting any points into defense, as learning the mechanics and learning how to not be hit in the game is very, very important, and it will help you out in the long run. But don't worry, because we will start putting points into defense later on in this video. Okay, so I recommend, if you're farming these guys, the best thing to do is just group them up like you would any other NPC, group them all together like this, and then just start beating on them when they're in a group. And you just want to continue to kill those guys until you are level 40 and you can move on to the next enemy. Alrighty, so once you hit level 40, your next enemy to fight will be the brutes. So what you want to do is you want to come over to the pirate adventurer, grab the brute quest, accept it, and then follow me. And as you can see, all the brutes are kind of just lined up along this way. Now, they do use an iron mace and they do slam the ground, so you need to be a little bit careful when fighting them. And they do a lot more damage normally, but you can see there, he just used the ability. Now, you just want to farm these guys until you are level 50. Once you get level 50, you can finally get your first ever devil fruit. So we'll get into that once you hit level 50. Alright, so once you've hit level 50, you need to come back over to the jungle island and come up to the top part of this stone platform, and you need to go across to the bloxfruit gacha. Now, this guy is going to give you a random bloxfruit every 2 hours if you pay him. Now, the thing you're looking for is a logia fruit. If you're able to get a logia fruit, then that is perfect. So I'm going to buy a fruit right here. Unfortunately, I was only able to get a chopped fruit, which is very unfortunate, but whatever fruit you get, I highly recommend just eating it anyway, because it's going to be better than having nothing. Now, if you're wondering which types of fruits are logia fruits, I'm going to pop them up on screen right now so you can see all the different types of logia fruits. If you get one of those fruits, you're extremely lucky, and I'll tell you why. When you have a logia fruit equipped and you've eaten it, then when an enemy tries to attack you that is lower level than you, then that enemy will not be able to physically deal any damage to you. As you can tell, that is extremely overpowered for grinding, and it means you won't take any damage whatsoever unless they are higher level than you. Now, if you're super lucky, you might get your hands on a butterfruit. Now, butterfruit is the best fruit for grinding in the entire game throughout all the different seas, so I highly recommend, if you get this fruit, eat it straight away. I'm going to pop on the screen what a butterfruit looks like, just so you guys know which fruit it is. Now, if you're really unlucky like me and you got a really bad fruit like I did, like the chopped fruit, the spike fruit, the kilo fruit, or anything like that, don't worry, because you'll be able to get another fruit in 2 hours, and if you're that impatient, I can show you another way to get another fruit. Alright, so if you want to get another fruit, then I highly recommend coming over to the bloxfruit dealer on the starter island, where you started the game. So if you come and speak to this guy, he will sell you different fruits. As you can see, now they're not always in stock, so the fruit you might want isn't always in stock, and they restock every 3.5 hours or so. As you can see, there's no good fruits really in stock here for me right now. There's only a couple bad ones. Now, if you're looking for a good fruit to get and buy from these guys, as long as it has the elemental tag underneath the name of the fruit, then I highly recommend buying it. So, as you can see here, smoke, flame, ice, sand, dark, light, magma, rumble, blizzard, dough. Now, for whatever reason, if you ever see Buddha in stock, I highly recommend getting that immediately, because as I said before, Buddha is the best fruit for grinding levels. Alright, so once you hit level 55, you'll be able to take on Buggy the Clown, so he's a pretty easy fight. Like, he's not really that hard to kill, to be honest. All you gotta do is kind of just avoid his sword. He will do one attack that kind of like is like a massive like slash at you, like that. As you can see, that's pretty much all he does. The rest is pretty straightforward. You just gotta beat him up. Right, there we go. So we beat him. It wasn't that hard. Now, he actually does have 2 abilities. I completely forgot about the second one. He'll like detach all his limbs and then like do a spin attack. It's really weird. He doesn't do it very often though, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Anyway, so now you're just gonna continue farming the brutes and Buggy until you are level 60, and then you can move on to the desert island. Okay, so you made it to the desert island, congratulations. Now, you are level 60, so I highly recommend farming here, just these guys right here, until you are level 90. I wouldn't worry about the other people, the other NPCs that are located all the way over there, because it simply just takes way too long to get in between quests at this level, because you don't have a lot of energy to dash around. I highly recommend just farming these guys, as they're super easy to farm. Now, you can farm these guys however you want. I personally like to just punch them and then gather them all together like normal. Now, for me personally, these guys are really easy to beat because I have the chop fruit, which means any sword user can't actually hit me. So I've got kind of an unfair advantage here. If you've got a logia fruit, it's going to be the same for you. But if you don't, you're going to have to unfortunately dodge their attacks. So I wish you luck, but for all those people that got really unlucky like me and got a chop fruit, it's the one time we're actually going to be useful. Okay, so I forgot to mention that you should probably start putting a little bit of points into defense. Just a little bit. I recommend just putting enough to get 300 health or so. Now, you'll be putting more into this later on in the game, but at the moment, it's just really important to get 300 HP. Now, obviously, you want to stop putting points into energy at this point if you're using your bloxfruit. Like, if you're using a fruit that is really OP at doing damage, like ice fruit, or if you're using light fruit, or one of the other fruits that you're using over just your regular combat, then pretty much what you want to do is get your energy to 1,000 and then just dump the rest of it into the bloxfruit stat. Now, obviously for me, because I got the chop fruit, I'm not going to do that, and probably for a lot of you guys, you're not going to do that either. Only do it if your fruit has some sort of weapon or melee, like the ice and light fruit. I'm actually not quite sure if any other fruits do have that melee, but I personally don't recommend using any swords or anything like that. At the moment, you can wait until the second sea when you can start getting the really good swords like True Triple Katana. Okay, so we are now at the Frozen Village, and this is really, really important, guys. You need to go and get Haki, Flash Step, and the extra jump ability. So what you want to do is you want to head over here to this side of the island, kind of over to where I am, and then you just want to come up on here, and then there's a cave that you can enter here. You want to run over to the ability teacher and just learn every single ability he has to offer. Now, the most important is probably Aura, which is 25,000. The second most important is Air Jump, which is only 10,000. And the third most important is Flash Step. Honestly, you can completely skip Flash Step, but I just recommend learning it anyway because it's going to be really useful later on. So, if you guys want to know how to use the abilities, you hit J to use your Haki, which is your armament. You want to use R to Flash Step, and you just want to jump normally to use your extra jump like that. Very simple stuff. Okay, as for quest here in this area, you want to click onto the quest villager guy and just do the snow bandit quest. Don't worry about the snowman quest, because if you come up on here, they're really far and they're really spread out, and it's kind of annoying to group them all together. But with the snow bandits, it's super easy to group them up. All you have to do is just come up here. These guys once again can't hit me because I've got the chop fruit and I'm immune to swords. So you just group them up like this. Really, really easy stuff, and then you can kind of just beat them all up like normal. You pretty much want to do that until level 110, where you'll be able to fight the Yeti boss at that point. Alright, so I'll be back when I'm at level 110. Alrighty, so now we're going to fight the Yeti. Now, the Yeti boss is very, very easy to beat. It's pretty much just the same boss as the Gorilla King. He's kind of just a buffed up version of that. He will slam the ground, it will have a bigger range. So you just want to kind of be careful, bait him around. It's pretty easy to beat him, in my opinion. I don't think he's a very difficult boss to beat. As you can see there, that is the slam attack. It's pretty much the same as the Gorilla King. I think it has a slightly higher range, but I'm not quite sure, and that is why you put points into defense. There we go. Okay, we did it. So the Yeti guy is pretty easy to beat. Like, honestly, I wouldn't fret too much with him. He's pretty simple. Okay, so pretty much what you're going to do is you're just going to keep farming the Yeti boss, the snow bandits, until you are level 120, and that's when you'll be able to move across to the marine fortress area, and it's also where you'll be able to get your first accessory, which will help you with your stats. Alright, so at this point, you've just hit Marine Fortress at level 120, so what you're going to do is you're going to come right to the end of the port kind of bay area, and you want to jump onto this house up here, and then you want to jump onto this tower over here. And you just want to kind of go inside the tower and come down this little hole over here, and you want to buy the black cape from this guy. Now, the black cape is a pretty solid accessory, gives you a little bit of health, gives you some energy, and also gives you 5% damage increase to anything that you're using. This is why I always get the black cape over the white cape that the Admiral drops, purely because it's more universal, even though it's a little bit less damage. So as for farming these guys, it's pretty straightforward. I recommend just kind of grouping them up by threes. You can group them up here, and then you can come straight over here and group this guy. Very, very easy. Again, because of the chop fruit, I don't have to worry about swords. Pretty useful fruit for the time being. It starts to kind of suck later on, but it's pretty good for now. There we go, just like that. Now, if you want, you can group up all four of them. It just takes a little bit longer, so I personally recommend not doing it. But if you want to do that, it's completely up to you. Anyway, I will see you guys when we are level 130. Okay, at this stage, you probably have got your own idea where you need your stats to go. So I'm going to let you guys go and do whatever stats you feel like you need. If you need more defense, put some more points into defense. If you feel like you're not doing enough damage, put some more points into damage, whatever your damage type is. Now, I personally highly recommend never put any of your stats into sword or gun in the first sea. Don't worry, you can always change this later down the line as you can get stat resets, but I highly recommend just not doing it as it will save you a lot of time and a lot of stress. I personally wouldn't recommend using swords in the first sea. I don't think they're very good. We will be getting our next fighting style very soon, so you're going to want to save up for 500,000, which is going to take you a little bit, but it won't take you as long as you might think. Okay, so now we're going to start fighting the boss. So the Admiral here is pretty easy to beat. He's not a very difficult boss as long as you just kind of know what he does. He pretty much does one attack over and over again, and that's about it. So we'll get into that fight right now. A quick tip that I want to give you guys before we get into this fight is if you're looking for bosses and you can't seem to find them, I recommend just clicking up on the server tab here and then hopping to another server to find the boss, because good chances are they're going to be spawned already. Alright, so here the Vice Admiral is. Now, he's not a difficult boss to fight. The only things that you really need to be worried about is his sword dash attack. And you just want to avoid getting a little bit too close to him, as those swords do a lot of damage to you. So I'll wait for the sword attack to come out. There it is. It's like a blue attack. All you have to do is worry about that, and then you're pretty much all good. And now you just want to kill him. Alright, there we go. So I just killed him. He's a pretty easy boss to beat, as I said. He's not that hard. If you do die against him, don't worry. You can just run back over and beat him up again. As long as you don't take too long, he won't regenerate his health. So, very, very easy. You pretty much just want to keep grinding here. The same thing you were doing with those NPCs. Just keep beating those guys up, and then fight the boss whenever he's respawned. And you just want to do that until you are level 150. Okay, so you've hit level 150, so you're up to the Sky Islands. Now, the Sky Islands are kind of annoying in my opinion. I don't really like them because it's kind of annoying to get around. So the first quest that you take from this guy are the Sky Bandits. Now, the problem with this quest is that they're below you, so they're on the actual island that is below you. As you can see, if I zoom out, you can see there, that island kind of below me. They are there, so it's kind of annoying to get down to them and then get back up to the quest. So what I recommend doing is I recommend setting your home here, so when you complete the quest, you're able to just teleport home like this, and then get the quest, and then jump back down. It's going to be the fastest way to do it. Now, there's no super fast way of actually beating these guys. You kind of just group them up like any other NPC, while we continue to save up 500,000 for the next fighting style. So, pretty much what I would just do is I just punch them. I just group them up like normal. Now, it's not that hard to group them, but it can be kind of annoying. And you just want to kill them just like that, no worries. Okay, so pretty much you want to keep doing that over and over again until you are level, I think, 175, and then you'll be able to move on. However, if you've got a Logia fruit, I recommend going until you're 177, so you don't get killed by the Sky Bandits, so your Logia fruit can save you. But if you don't have it, just get to 175 and then start doing the next quest. Alright, so time for the second quest now, which is I think the Dark Masters. Now, the Dark Masters are very easy to find. Again, I recommend just setting your home. They're just down on this island over here. They're pretty easy to farm too. They're not too bad. You kind of just run over and punch them. But my drop fruit won't work, so just group them all up together. They're pretty easy to group. And then you can just start beating them up like normal. Except this one kind of gets stuck sometimes, so you have to kind of run over here like that. But kind of just beat them up pretty normally. And as we can see, it's pretty easy. You just kind of group them up like that, and then you just kill them. So just continue doing that until I think you are level 190. So at this stage, you're getting very, very close to getting 500,000 as well, which is really good because we're going to need that for our next fighting style. So just keep farming up, and eventually you will get there, and eventually we should have 500,000 before we get to level 190, which is where we want to move on to the prison. Okay, so unfortunately I don't have enough money yet to buy the new fighting style, which is what I'm saving up for and what I recommend you guys buy as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over and just do some quests here. Now this area, the prison, does have 3 different bosses that spawn here. The Warden, the Chief Warden, and the Don Swan boss. So I highly recommend just farming here until you're a level like 210, I think. Or until you have 500,000, that too. I should also mention that there's really no trick to gather these guys up. It's probably, the prison's one of the worst spots in the world to farm, honestly, in my opinion. I recommend just grabbing these guys like this and just kind of beating them up like that. But there's nothing else you can really do. It's kind of a terrible spot to farm. Now, another thing I want to quickly show you guys is if you've eaten a devil fruit and you don't like that devil fruit and you don't want to get rid of it, but you don't have another devil fruit to get rid of it, then what you can do is you can head over to this guy who will remove your devil fruit for a price. Of course, you have to pay him quite a lot of money. It's like 50 grand. I recommend not doing this. I recommend just waiting until you get another devil fruit and just eat that one instead. Alrighty, so for the people that aren't using their bloxfruit as their main weapon, once you've got the 500,000, I recommend coming over to here, the Sky Islands once again, and what you want to do is you just want to come all the way over here, and you just want to come behind this little rock area to the Mad Scientist. Now, this guy is going to teach you the electric fighting style, which will replace your normal combat, and it's a lot better. Trust me, the abilities are just a lot easier to beat bosses with, just makes it a lot easier for comboing, and just overall the damage is just way higher. Okay, so once you hit level 210, you're just going to start doing the dangerous prisoner quest, which in my opinion is just as bad as the normal prisoner quest. It's really not very good. I recommend just honestly grouping 2 of them up like this. It is a little easier if you got the chop fruit now because, you know, you won't get hit because they carry swords. But I highly recommend just doing that. And yeah, the mastery is going insane because I just got this. But yeah, pretty much just keep doing that over and over again until you get to level 220, which is when you can fight the first boss of the area. Okay, so once you've hit level 220, what you can do is head over to the head jailer and you can speak about fighting the warden. Now, the warden spawns over here. He's a pretty short cooldown. I think it's only like 5-10 minutes when he spawns. Now, he's also not that hard to beat either. In my opinion, he's very simple to beat. You just kind of have to walk around him like this. There we go. So we beat him. Again, if you have electric, this is going to be really easy. Trust me, electric makes life a lot easier than the base combat style. So I'm just going to continue farming until I am level 230, and then we'll be able to fight the chief warden. Okay, so once the chief warden has spawned, what you can do is just beat him up too. Now, he does a lot more damage, but again, he's not that hard to beat, so just be careful that he doesn't hit you, because if he does hit you, trust me, you're going to lose health very quickly. And just like this, he is now dead. So, he's very easy to beat, as I said, like, he's not really that hard to beat. And pretty much you just want to wait until you are level 240, and then you can start fighting Don Swan. Alright, so we're versing Mr. Swan. Now, he's not very hard to beat. He does have a couple of really strong AoE attacks that I highly recommend you watch out for. But apart from that, he's relatively easy to beat. And this electric tackle should finish him. There we go. It's over just like that. Very easy. So, yeah, pretty simple. Now you just want to head and just keep farming pretty much until you hit level... I think it's like level 250, I believe? Okay, so after that, pretty much what you want to do is just want to get to level 250 just by farming all the bosses and whatever else you can do in the meantime. Just get yourself to level 250 and then you can move on to the Colosseum area, which is a pretty basic area, pretty simple, nice and easy. So I'll see you guys once I'm over there. Okay, so next thing we need to cover is if you don't have a Logia fruit at this stage, you're in trouble because you're going to need one. You're hitting level 250 and you're going to need one soon. So if you haven't already gotten a Logia fruit from the random spin, you need to go and buy one from the bloxfruit dealer. So I've seen online, I've just gone and checked, and they're currently here selling ice, which is a Logia fruit, for 350,000. So I'm going to save up for that. Okay, so I now have enough for the ice fruit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy that, and the reason I'm going to buy this one is just because it's purely an elemental fruit or a Logia fruit, and that's really good for grinding now, but I'm just going to use electric with ice now, so I don't actually have to worry about using this at all. I'm just going to continue to use my electric and just have the passive effect that the Logia gives me. As you can see there, I can't take any damage because I'm way higher level than this guy, so there we go. No issues there, so I think we'll be okay for now, and then what we're going to do is just keep grinding until I get to the next island, and I'll teach you guys anything you need to know about the next island. Okay, so welcome to the Magma Village. Now, you're going to be really careful here when you're farming these enemies, because when you're farming here, they have a 50% chance to spawn with Haki or aura. So what you might notice is if their hands have got like this black aura around them, that means even if you have a Logia fruit, they're still going to be able to hit you. Now, it is a 50% chance they spawn with it, so some of them don't have it. You need to start saving your money. You need to start saving up to 750,000, because soon we're going to go get observation Haki or instinct, as it's known in this game. So just keep saving up, and eventually we'll be able to afford it. Now, if you're not like me and you haven't had a lot of setbacks, you got a low gear fruit straight away and stuff like that, you might be close to getting observation haki, but don't worry, it's not very important at the moment, so I wouldn't worry about it. Just go get it when I do. And yeah, okay, so what I recommend is you just fight these guys normally, group them up as you've always been doing, and then you'll move up onto further up the mountain and you'll fight those guys. Now, do be a little bit careful when you fight the guys on top of the mountain, because they do have flash step, so they can kind of teleport right next to you without you expecting it, so just be a little bit careful. Okay, so the magma guy is the boss of this area. Now, he's not hard to beat. All you gotta watch out for is the magma fist. That's it right there. Now, he does have other abilities, but as long as you're not standing too close to him too often, he won't use them. So just kind of run away and you won't be hit at all. He's pretty easy to beat. He's probably one of the easier bosses in my opinion. And pretty much now you just want to go and continue farming the rest of the island until you are level 375, and then you can move on to the next area, which is the underwater fisherman area. Okay, so you're now at Fisherman Island, or the underground fisherman area. Now, the best way to farm the first guys is pretty simple, in my opinion, is just to kind of gather them up like so. Just kind of run over and grab them like this, and just beat them when they're in a group of 3. And then just move on to the next group. There we go. So I recommend getting through these guys pretty quickly because they're kind of annoying, honestly, in my opinion. So you'll be able to get through the next guys once you hit level 400. I recommend farming these guys until you're level 406 though, so your low gear fruit can kick in when you're fighting the next guys. So it's kind of a pain to fight these guys when you don't have a low gear fruit, so I highly recommend just leveling up as quickly as you can just to get that low gear fruit up and running. Okay, so in case you didn't buy electric style, you can actually go in here and you can buy the water kung fu style, which is a very good style. It's probably one of the best in the game for the first sea. It's probably the best one in the first sea in my opinion, but it just takes way too long to get here. That's why I didn't recommend buying it, but it is still pretty good and nonetheless. So in case you haven't bought electric, I recommend going and get that, but I want to save up for the instinct, so I'm going to save up 750,000 for that, which we are on our way to getting. Okay, so farming these guys are pretty easy once you're level 407 and you have a low gear fruit. So if I come over to here, you can see this guy can't hit me because my low gear fruit. I recommend just grabbing them all together like this. Now you might not know this, but there's actually a one hidden in here. He's kind of hidden in the little thing. So I recommend just grabbing 4 of them together like this, moving them together, and just killing them as simply like that. So it's pretty relatively easy. You just kind of want to rinse and repeat that strategy over and over again until you hit level 425, and that's when you can fight the boss. Alright, so I'm going to show you the best way to beat this final boss. It's really simple to beat this guy. You just want to aggravate him like that. Pretty much just get him to like get angry at you, then just kind of run over to a window like this, and once he comes all the way over to the window, you can just start smacking him through the window, and there's absolutely nothing this guy can do to you to even touch you. He has 2 forms, but that doesn't really matter to you because he can't touch you. Apart from when he does that. When he does that, it's kind of annoying, but like, I mean, it only happens like every once in a while, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. There you go, free kill. Probably one of the easiest bosses in the game to beat because you can just completely abuse and punch him through a window. So I will see you guys in the next area. Just continue to farm up like you were before until you reach the next area. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to come back to the jungle area now because we're going to go and get Instinct, which is the observation haki of bloxfruit. So what we're going to need to do, this is exactly why we did the puzzle before, just in case you guys are wondering. So what we're going to do is you're going to come down here and you're going to come down into this little hole. I recommend hitting control so you can actually get down the hole easier. And we're going to grab this torch. Now, once we've got this torch, you're going to head over to the desert island. Okay, so now that we're at the desert island, what we want to do is we want to head over to this broken down house just over here, and you just kind of walk through the door, and then you come down further and you just burn this door with the torch that you were given. Once the door disappears, you just want to walk through and grab the cup. And once you've got this cup, what you want to do is you want to head across to the frozen area where you got your aura and your flash step and all that stuff. Okay, so once we're here at the snow area, what we want to do is you want to head back inside that cave that we got all our stuff from before. And you want to go to this dripping icicle and you want to fill the cup up like that. You can see it's filled because it has liquid in it now. And then you just want to jump all the way up to the top area, come across to this house that has the sword dealer next to it, and give this cup to the sick man. Okay, so once you've given the cup to the sick man, what you need to do is go back to the pirate village where you first got level 50 and where you were able to first get your fruit. Okay, so once you're at the pirate village, what you want to do is you want to head over to the left side of the map over here. And once you come over here, there will be a little NPC called the rich man. You want to go up to this rich man and he'll pretty much tell you that he can't give you anything because there's this mob leader and he is extorting him. So you need to go beat up the mob leader, and that's very simple to do. Okay, so in order to kill the mob leader, you need to go to the island where the mob leader is located. So you can see this is the little plaza area, the main area for the pirate village. Now, if you just look across over there, you should be able to see the island where the mob leader is located. I'm sure if we dash a little bit closer to it, you probably see it a bit better. There you go. It's right in the distance there. You just need to head over there with a boat, and then you'll be able to go and kill the mob leader. Okay, this guy is relatively easy to kill. You don't really have to worry about it at this level. You should be able to just kind of kick his butt. After you've beaten the mob leader, what you need to do is speak to the rich man once again, and he'll pretty much just give you the relic. So once you got this relic, you want to head back over to the jungle. Okay, so once you've done that, what you want to do is you pretty much see this little keyhole in the wall here. This is the stone area where you got your fruit, and you just want to run over and open this up. And inside here, the boss Shanks or the Saber boss will spawn. Now, he's really easy to kill. He shouldn't be too difficult, but you might need to hop servers a little bit for him to spawn. He does have a long cooldown, so I highly recommend just hopping a server a couple times until you find him. Alright, so there he is. He spawned here. Now, the only thing that's really difficult about this guy is the fact that the room is very, very small. Apart from that, he's relatively easy to beat. As I said that, he just started stomping me. I will be back when he's dead. There we go. So we've just taken him out, and you will get the saber sword as a reward once you have killed him. But more importantly, we will now be able to go and get observation haki. Okay, so with that being said, it is now time for you guys to go and get observation haki. So how do you do that? Well, all you need to do is climb all the way up into those sky islands, all the way up there. Now, how do you do that exactly? Well, you just jump. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, follow me. This is how you do it. So you just kind of jump across onto these trees, and you can use your electric style as well to kind of get some distance if you need to. And you just pretty much want to run and follow my path here. Come into this temple area. There'll be this little arrow across into the corner. Jump down there, and you'll be teleported eventually when the game loads. There we go, and you'll be teleported up here where this massive tree is and these massive roots are. You pretty much just want to follow this route all the way along until you get to this like little temple area, and you want to go all the way to the top of the temple. Once in here, you'll be able to speak to the instinct teacher, and he'll be able to teach you instinct. Now, it's very easy, costs a lot of money though to get, 750,000, and to use it, all you have to do is hit E, as you can see there. Now, first level, it is pretty weak, I must admit. You can get 4 dodges, and that's it. After that, it's run out completely, and it takes like 50 seconds between dodges to come back. But it's very useful when you're doing boss fights, because those little extra dodges do help you quite a lot. Anyway, let's get back to farming. Okay, so it's time to farm. Now, you're going to come back down to this teleporter where you teleported up to the top sky islands. This is where you're going to be farming the next area. Now, if you have a low gear fruit, you have to wait until you're level 458 before these enemies can't hit you anymore. So just bear that in mind. But it's pretty simple. Just group them all together and then kill them like you've been doing normally. And then you'll be able to move on to the next quest when you are at the right level. Okay, so the next area is very, very simple. You just want to gather them all up and just kill them like you've been doing. Your Logia fruit won't come into working until about level 483, so you just need to wait until then before you can't be touched. So just gather them up, kill them. It's very, very simple, and then move on to the boss once you've hit level 500. Okay, so this boss is pretty relatively easy. He's not hard to beat. The only thing you really need to be careful is the bazooka. It does a lot of damage. It will do like all your health in like 1 or 2 goes, so I recommend just trying to get around that. Obviously, now that you have observation haki, I recommend using it just because it will save you from a couple of those hits, as you can see there, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Other than that, good luck. And here we go. That should finish it nice and easily. Okay, so once you've done that, you just want to continue farming these guys over here again. Just keep farming those guys until you hit the next area, and then we'll move on, and I'll continue to talk about that. Okay, so the next area is pretty normal. You just want to kill these guys like you've been doing before. Now, you won't get your elemental fruit or your Logia fruit effect until level 535, so just keep that in mind. I recommend farming here until about level 560, even though the quest is not that high, but I recommend doing that so you can get your elemental fruit for the next section, so you can just go straight into it. These guys are super easy to farm because they're all relatively close. Group them up, kill them, easy work. Okay, so once you've gotten to 560 and you've reached the next area where your Logia has activated, as you can see, these guys cannot hit me, which is good. Logia is very useful. So I highly recommend just farming here until you are level 637. I know that's absolutely insane, and you might be like, why am I farming here for so long? Well, trust me on this one, the next area sucks. When you hit level 575, make sure you go and fight the Thunder God, who is located all the way at the end of the island over there. So you just keep following the bell in the tower, you'll find him. There's really not much to him. There's not much to really go over. Just kind of dodge his attacks, use your instincts, and just fight him like you've been fighting every other boss. And once you get to level 635, we'll check back in. Okay, so these gallery pirates are going to take you all the way to 700, so just farm them. Now, if you have a Logia fruit, then do not farm the captains that are all the way over there. I highly recommend not doing it because they can hit you even with an elemental fruit or a Logia fruit, whatever you want to call it. Now, if you do not have a Logia fruit at this stage, then I highly recommend you just farm the captains as well. But you can even ignore them if you realistically wanted to, because it does take a while to get from the quest guy all the way over there. But you're better off setting your home and doing it that way, because I feel like it's quicker. But again, I feel like it just takes way too long, so I wouldn't really recommend it. So just farm these guys, group them up together. It can be kind of annoying to group them, so group them best you can. What I recommend is killing this guy, running over, grouping these two guys together on this green patch, killing this guy, and then killing that guy, and then just go back and do the same thing. It's realistically pretty simple and not much to really go over. The boss of the area, who is the cyborg boss, is... Now, the boss of the area, who is Frankie over here, is actually probably the hardest boss in the game. He has a couple abilities you need to watch out for. One is the bullet attack. He'll just spam bullets at you. It does a lot of damage and it comes at you pretty quickly. The second one is his farting ability. He farts on your face and it's a massive AoE damage. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's super annoying. So once you guys have reached level 700, what we'll do is we'll come back and we will do the quest. It's a pretty simple quest to get to the second sea, so I will be back. Okay, congratulations, you are now level 700 and you are ready for the second sea. So what you need to do is you need to come up to the military detective at the prison and you need to talk to this guy. He'll pretty much tell you that someone's escaped and you need to head over to the ice biome. Okay, first of all, I don't know why I called it the ice biome. This ain't Minecraft. The snow village is where you're meant to go. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go back into this cave again for like the third time. You want to use the key to open up this little lock, and then this admiral will be here waiting for you. What you want to do is you just want to bait him up real quick, and then he will tell you to go back to the prison. Okay, so once you've reached back to the prison, all you got to do is come up to the prison guy again, talk to him, and then he'll pretty much tell you that you need to go to Middletown to go talk to an experienced captain. Okay, so here we are. The experienced captain is behind me, so in order to find him, just come over to one of the docks on Middletown. Now, if there's two docks in Middletown, if he's not there on one, just go to the other one. Very simple. Pretty much all you need to do is just talk to him, and then you'll be in the second sea. Ta-da! Now you're in the second sea. Congratulations. If you guys want to see the whole of the second sea covered, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.